Hey y'all, the Mouth from the South here. And if you watch some of my other videos, you will probably know that I was a coach for the 5U D-backs that my 5-year-old son played in T-ball. And I know I'm wearing Royals right now because I don't want to get my D-back stuff dirty while I'm working. So I'll get my Royal stuff dirty. Anyway, so I am starting a new project here, and it's what I call the D-backs plaques. And I'm going to be carving a snake into a piece of wood using a router template, and I'm going to document this entire build. I've already carved out one. I'm working on my second one now, and I just want to show you the process. So if you want to watch, great. If you don't know what you're doing and you want to learn how to do some template routering, then check out this video. I guess you can call it a tutorial, and I'll kind of explain it as I go. I honestly didn't know what I was doing, so I looked up a few videos to try to figure it out, and I found a pretty good little trick on how to do this. And I don't recall if it was from John Malecki, Malecki, or it might have been a video from Crafted Elements, or possibly even Jeff Mac Supply. One of those three. I learned it from one of them. But a lot of people, they'll clamp down their template. Some glue it down. I found a really cool trick that leaves like no mess. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, here's my template. I have a snake. Alright, I'm going to be pulling this out, but the reason I have this in here still is because I messed up. And I'll teach you my mistakes. That way you don't make the same mistake. But let me explain as I go. When this part of the snake was removed, this is the part, and you can kind of see this little tab here. It's a real thin spot there, making it very fragile. So when I had it on my first board, let me just set it down for a second. I have my router. You can see the bit sticking out. This is a 1/8 inch bit on a 1/4 inch shank. I'll post the tool description, or the exact tool in the description. Anyway, when I was routing, there's a couple things I got to show you. I didn't have the bearing all the way down flush on the edge of the template. I had it a little high, so some of the edges barely got to it, and if you look really close, you can see a lot of chipping on the edges. That's because I had this bearing too close to the plate. You see here how it barely extends out a little bit. You want to have it extended about, I'll try to put this in the center of this. I had it at the very top edge, and if you barely lift up slightly, you will chip the edges. And as I was coming around here, I lifted up and I hit the edge right here, and when I did, it completely broke right here. So this piece has already been broken. I used super glue to glue it back, and it worked until I made the exact same mistake again accidentally. So then after that, I flipped it on this side right here. I took a Dremel with a cutoff wheel, a little bitty one, and I just ground a slot in there. And I used 5-min epoxy. I put it down in that slot just to hold it together. And just from moving it around, not even routing, it's already loosened up, and you can kind of see it's wiggling a lot right there. So this template is very fragile, and it's a very weak spot right here due to the fact that how thin the material is. Compared to this side right here, this one's a lot thicker, so it's harder to break, but that one's real thin. So anyway, what I did was carefully keep it in there. Alright, so in order to put this template on this piece of wood here, what I learned was you take a piece of tape and then another piece of tape to the corresponding side. So this is the left side, this is the left side. I put tape there, and it's face down because the sticky side down, that sticky side down. You could use CA glue with an activator, or you could simply use Loctite super glue or any other kind of super glue. Put a little bit on your tape and a little bit here. That way they correspond. And then when you put it down, make sure it's lined up perfectly before it sets up and hardens. The other thing was this piece earlier, I put a piece of tape down. I did the same thing with the glue. And when I went to pull it off, it broke because this part stuck when I tried to pry the entire plate off, and it broke again. That's why I did the epoxy attempt to repair it. So this time I'm not putting glue here. Since this is a fragile piece, I need it to lift easily, not hard. So I just took a piece of tape, I rolled it over itself and just smushed it flat. So it's literally just tape that's going to hold this piece still. Alright, so let's quit the talking and get to working. I'm going to take some of this glue here. I don't know how far I'm going to go out, but I don't want it to go on my plate here, so I'm going to do it on the smaller pieces of tape. Just a little bit of glue. You don't need a whole bunch, just enough to kind of stick it. Y'all can see that, right? It's about a dime size, maybe nickel size. Then we're going to take this, we're going to flip it over. Ah, crap, it broke. Look at that. Dang it. This sucks. See? In the moment it broke. But I want to put this back in there so I can line that piece up, because I have to route this. Let me line it up here before it sets. It's already setted. It's setting. I don't want it to set yet. I didn't want it to set. I didn't know that piece was going to break, but hey, in the moment. Alright, now I'm just going to press down on that. Press down. Okay. Yeah, it's wrinkled because I needed to shift it over. Alright. It is now set on there. Watch this. This whole thing will lift up by the tape and the glue method. I call this the tape and super glue method. But now I got to pull this piece out, but I need that set and not to move because I know that thing's probably going to break. So I'm going to try to pull this up and get it out. And I'm just going to take some tape here, rip it, roll it over, and use it kind of like as a grabber. Come on. There we go. Come on, get up. Let's go. There we go. All right, pulled that out. That's pretty snug. I just got to be careful when I route this spot right here, not to break it off or whatever. But the other thing I learned, so you don't accidentally have this hit the edge of it as you're coming up and out. It tends to happen because I've did it, and that's how I've chipped this piece. Once your router's flat, I highly suggest turning it off while it's in there and then pulling it out once the bit stops rotating. If it's still rotating and you go to pull out and you slide over accidentally because this thing is slick, you're going to hit the edge of it and you're going to break this. Learn from my mistakes. So turn your machine off before pulling it out. All right, that being said, let's route. Pull it out, let's route. All right, here we go. Let me see if I can zoom in on here for you so you can get a closer look. There we go. Sorry if my hands get in the way. All right, or here. There we go. Alright, so you turn it off and then pull it out. All I did right now was just the head. I want to show y'all something. There's just the head pulled out. You also want to go in a clockwise pattern direction. If you go counterclockwise, the bit spinning the opposite way, it's not really going to cut the wood very good. So now I'm going to finish this up going clockwise, and when I get done, there's going to be a sliver in the middle that the width of the bit just won't get. I'm going to leave that for now because it's going to take a while to get all that with this little bitty 1/8 inch bit. I'm going to come back later on and use a wider bit to clean up that center piece. But the little small crevices, like at the front and the back, I'll get. But like everything in the middle, I'm going to leave open. And I got 10 more of these to do. So instead of switching bits every single plaque, I'm just going to do all of them first, and then I'll come back later on and clean them all up. So that being said, let's go ahead and finish this snake out here. And yes, I'm working on top of a trash can as a table because it's elevated kind of high. I don't want to bend over and hurt my back. Stop right here and pull out. That was a sketchy because this little bitty piece of tape is holding this thing from wiggling, and it started to move on me when I got over there, and so it's kind of sketchy. I may try to repair this before I do my next snake because I don't like how that is so loose and only held on by a little piece of tape and not completely secure. But I can't do anything above it to protrude because I need it to be flat so this can glide along it. Alright, let's continue here. Turn off, then remove. Hold on. Let me get the blower real quick. Alright, there you have it. Let me zoom out. You can kind of see where the router went along the edges there. And I'll come back later on and clean up the center of that snake. But that's basically how you do that. And then there's my tool. It's a little scraper here, which you can do. I know I'm gonna lose that piece. You come up under here, pry it up a little bit. The tape's gonna stick, but that's fine. Then if you grab both pieces, because they're glued together, they come off so cleanly. And look, there's no residue left. It's an easy cleanup. Same thing on the wood side. It doesn't matter what side it sticks to, because that glue right there is, you don't want to do that, but you pull it up off the wood here. There you go. And then this stupid little piece is stuck and broke. There you have it. I will clean it up later, but you got you a snake right there, and actually looks pretty good right here where it broke at, so it's pretty smooth. I'll probably come back in and barely touch that with like a hand chisel or something, or a piece of sandpaper on a finger, and just kind of smooth it out. So there you have it. Before the video started, I already went in and marked all my markings, so I knew how to line it up. Nobody wants to see all that. That's boring stuff. But there you go. Stay tuned for the rest of the build, and I'll be posting them as I go. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you learned something new. Don't make my same mistakes. That's how you route. And we'll see you on the next video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and follow me for more content, and hit that bell so you can get notifications when I post new videos. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all take care. Have a good day.